Oh yeah, we're finally here. My last champion is Nyla. I don't know why, but boom! Let's go! We now own every champion in the game. After playing this game for around 12 years, I finally unlocked every champion on my NA account. But how long did it really take? According to the Wasted on Low site, I've been playing for around 66 days of pure in-game time, but this only tracks the time I spent since 2018. I've been playing since the end of Season 2 way back in 2012, and there's been a lot of changes to how players can earn currency to unlock champions. The biggest change happened back in patch 7.22 in 2017, when the influence point currency system was fully replaced by the blue essence system we use today. Instead of receiving a certain amount of IP after each game, players now receive level up rewards that give them champion shards or capsules, which they can convert into BE or just buy the champion directly. I was curious on how long on average it took for a player to unlock every champion, so I did a poll a few months ago to get a rough ballpark range on what it could be. After going through every response, I found the average to be around 4.3 years. Obviously, this number was variable since someone that plays 20 games a day would unlock things much faster compared to someone who only plays once a week, and this isn't even counting if they use real-life money to speed up the process or not. A lot of players also didn't see the need to unlock every champion either due to reasons like lack of interest, not wanting to randomly get them in ARAM, personal reasons, etc. There's also the natural inconsistency of when they started playing. I didn't know how to properly compare someone that unlocked every champion back in 2015, for example, to someone that unlocked every champion in 2024, but there have been many new additions over the years. So as that one unemployed friend on a Tuesday, I sat down and tried to answer the question, how long does it take to buy every champion in League? Quick disclaimer, I am not the best at math or data gathering in general, so there might be some mistakes in regards to the calculation of everything, but the way I see it, I either get everything right and look way smarter than I actually am, or somebody in the comments will be so angry at my incorrect math that they'll correct me, and then we'll get the right answer in the end anyways, so I consider this an absolute dub. Let's start with the basics. As of October 2024, which is the time of making this video, there are 168 champions in the game. You can buy these champions in the client with three main methods. 1. Directly with Blue Essence, which is the main currency of the game. 2. With RP, which uses your real-life money. And 3. Champion capsules or shards, which you receive from leveling up or from rewards that give a huge discount on the specific champion it highlights. After adding up the cost of every champion, it will take a total of 530,335 BE or 118,620 RP to unlock them all. Quick side note, there were some funny numbers I saw when looking at the champion prices, like how Riot's cost 4,800 BE to buy, but it's super cheap with real money at 260 RP, or that Jhin and Vel'Koz are 4444 and 3141 BE respectively. Before we get into the big math portion of the video for free-to-play players, let's talk about the much faster IRL monetary ways to unlock every champion. We'll only be talking about family-friendly methods for obvious reasons, so none of that sketchy business here. When the Garena servers were shut down a while back, players that transferred over to the new server was gifted every champion to their account. I didn't actually know or hear about this, but since I received multiple responses in the community posts saying this was how they unlocked everything, I see no reason to doubt it. I'm assuming that since you had to have an account on the Garena server to transfer, this method is no longer available, so it was left as a brief mention. Every creator that was accepted to the Riot League Partner Program back in 2018 has access to every champion in the game. Applications have been closed for the last 6 years, however, so there haven't been any ways for new creators to join. Riot did say they were planning on making a new announcement for this in early 2024, but yeah. This won't be applicable to most countries for obvious reasons, but if you live in South Korea, there are PC bongs all over the place where you can pay around 1,001 per hour to use a high-end PC for games or other activities. These come with the added benefit of having every champion available for League players and built-in XP boost during the time there as far as I know. So technically speaking, this is the fastest and cheapest method of unlocking every champion without having to rely on the aforementioned methods. If you have an Xbox Game Pass subscription, you can link your Xbox profile to a Riot account, which lets you unlock every champion during that subscription period. It currently costs $11.99 a month, so while you do have to continue paying to keep being able to play every champion, you still keep all of the BE and rewards you receive during that time, so it might be a good deal for new players, especially for those that already use the pass for other games. Let's say you don't like these temporary methods and want to unlock every champion on day 1 without having to play a single game because you're just that Giga Chad. It currently costs 118,620 RP to purchase every champ, which according to the prices listed in the client will cost $883. If you know you're not going to spend RP on anything else afterwards, then you will need to buy 8 of the $100 bundle and one of the $50, $22, and $11 bundles to efficiently maximize your money spendage. According to the current federal minimum wage in America of $7.25 an hour, if you decide to use all of your earnings to unlock every champion in the game and didn't have to pay for things like health insurance, food, rent, gas, electricity, insurance, loans, etc. for some reason, you'd only have to work 121.79 hours, which is around 122 hours rounded up, which in a standard 9 to 5, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week work week would take a little over 15 days or 3 work weeks to accomplish the goal. So if your job is a full-time YouTuber like me, you'll be able to earn that amount in about 6 weeks with luck. But let's say you have no money or just don't want to use any of your hard-earned cash. How long would it take if you relied solely on in-game free-to-play methods to earn enough BE to unlock every champion? There's obviously going to be a ton of variance, especially if you consider things like the rewards in the battle pass, which changes every few weeks, or things like missions or seasonal events that could give additional or fewer rewards such as XP boosts or something, I don't know. But because I'm super lazy and I want to sleep tonight, I'm going to make it easier for myself and focus on just the main methods of earning currency and unlocking champions, which are the rewards you receive for playing games and leveling up. Also, just in case someone asks, the Amazon Prime Gaming rewards were discontinued starting in March of 2024, so that won't be mentioned. Quick reminder, you need 530k BE to unlock all 168 current champions in the game without IRL money. To figure out how much time it would take on average to get this, we had to first calculate 3 things. 1, the value of a champion capsule. 2, the value of a glorious champion capsule. And 3, how many capsules we need to be able to unlock every champion. There was only one problem. I for the life of me could not find the drop rates for the capsules anywhere. It was weird because there is information on what a Hextech chest can drop shown here, but there wasn't any official information on what a capsule dropped. Before we get ahead of ourselves, for those that don't know, you receive champion capsules upon leveling up, which you can then open to obtain champion shards. With these shards, you can either disenchant the shard into BE for 20% of the champion's original price, or use up the shard to unlock the champion for 60% of the original price. So for example, Briar costs 6300 BE to buy directly, but if you have the Briar champion shard, you can either convert it to 1260 BE, which is 20% of the price, or you can unlock the champion for just 3780 BE, which is 60% of the price. Basically, you can just think of shards as coupons. Either you turn the coupon for 20% of the item in hard cash, or turn it into buy the item itself for 60% of the price. Now the main problem arises when we had to figure out how many shards on average we received from each capsule, because the information is once again nowhere to be found in an official post. However, thanks to some other players that posted on Reddit and YouTube on what they received from opening up their loot, I was able to get a good enough sample size, and I found there to be 4 different possible outcomes for champion capsules. You can either get 1 shard, 2 champion shards, 2 champion shards and 90 BE, or 3 champion shards and 270 BE. To the best of my ability with the limited information that was available, I tried to determine what the average value of a capsule could be. I pretty much just went and manually counted the drops and divided the number of champion shards and BE they got by the number of capsules they opened and ended up with the following ratio. In the data sample of 1029 capsules opened, there was a result of 1871 champion shards plus 72,180 BE, which when all divided by the number of capsules, and that for every 1 champion capsule opened, it would on average have 1.82 champion shards along with 70.15 BE inside. The data was taken from multiple years of posts, ranging from 6 years to today, but the loot numbers seemed consistent enough with each other that it didn't seem like there was any change in the drop rates over time. I tried doing the same method with glorious capsules, which are basically just bigger champion capsules, but there wasn't nearly as much data for that, and my brain was kind of omega-fried to look for more, so I just settled with the ratio of 1 glorious capsule equals 2.59 champion shards from the limited footage I could find. As far as I saw, only shards dropped from these and not BE. If I had more data, I would like to have seen if the glorious capsules were basically just 2 times the value of the regular capsules, but we can just work with these numbers for now. Now that we had the value of a champion capsule and the glorious champion capsule, we just had to figure out how many capsules we needed to be able to unlock every champion. Fittingly, there's something called the coupon collectors problem, which would answer this. Basically, the problem asks, if there are an X number of coupons and our goal is to collect each unique one, randomly and with replacement, which means we can have duplicates, how many coupons will we need? In our case, the coupons are the number of champion shards we need to collect, and our X will be 168 since there are 168 unique champions. There's a lot of complicated looking math for this that looks way above my pay grade, but thankfully, there are many convenient calculators online that does all the work for me. According to this, if our goal was 168, it would take on average 958 champion shards to have each unique shard at least once. But luckily, we don't need every shard to unlock everything. We just need enough to be able to buy most of the champions with shards, and with all the duplicate shards we get, we can disenchant them into BE, which we would then use to pay for the champions for 60% and directly buy the ones we don't have. So the actual number of shards we needed would be more towards the middle here somewhere. From here on, it was kind of just a matter of guess and checking until we found that perfect balance of champion shards and BE until we could buy everything. There was just one last thing we had to gather data for, which was the amount of loot we got from level up rewards. If it costs 530k BE to buy every champion directly without shards, that means it would only be 318k BE, which is 60%, with shards. So our final cumulative number will be somewhere in between these two numbers. Following this train of thought, if we divide the total BE price of 530k BE by 168, which is the number of champions, the average cost of a champion would be at 3156 BE if you directly bought it, and 1894 BE if you had a champion shard to buy it at 60%. That means if we open a champion castle and it contains a champion shard that we need, it will on average cost us 1894 BE to unlock it. And if we open a champion castle and the shard is a duplicate of something we already own, we can disenchant it, which will give us an average of 631 extra BE back, which is 20% of the 3156 average price. After I did a few tests of initial calculations, I made a bunch of mistakes, so I had to keep changing some parts until the numbers looked right to me. But after many failures and fixes, all I had to do now was to factor in the rewards you got from leveling up. On the way to level 30, you can receive a total of these following champion shards. We can honestly just ignore the 3 450 BE ones because they kinda suck, so we're left with a total of 9 random shards that range from 1350 to 4800 BE, which very coincidentally just means we have 9 random shards that have an average value of 3150 BE, which is basically the number we established earlier as the average value. So after doing the calculations, we just had to remember that we had 9 extra shards from leveling up. You receive more rewards than what's listed on here, but since it's mostly things like skins or icons, it doesn't really affect us since we're only focusing on BE. We also get 3000 BE after finishing the tutorial, so I had to remember to include that as well. After putting in a bunch of random level values and basically trying to triangulate what the average level could be, I eventually calculated that in order to unlock every champion, the player had to be around level 300, and here's how I got to this answer. The daily rewards and such will be put in a bit later. If you check the cumulative rewards you receive at level 300, you will have a total of 18k BE, 283 champion capsules, and 33 glorious champion capsules. You receive 1 champion capsule for pretty much every level except at other milestones, and you receive 1 glorious champion capsule for every 10 levels starting at level 30, and every 25 levels from level 75 to 500. Starting at level 150, you also receive 10 mythic essence every 50 levels, which you can convert into BE, and since 10 mythic essence equals 1500 BE, that explains these small BE increases every now and then. So with this in mind, here's the math. These are the numbers we just talked about, and our goal is to see how much loot we have at level 300. Going back to the average values from earlier, we estimated 1 champion castle to be roughly 1.82 champions and 70 BE. We just multiplied these numbers by the amount of champion castles we would have by this level, which in this case is 283, to end up with a total amount of 515 champion shards and 19k BE. We also add the 18k BE we amassed over time by now. We also determined that 1 glorious champion castle roughly equaled 2.59 champion shards, so we just multiply that by the 33 glorious castles we have to end up with 85 additional shards. After we add everything up, we would have 601 champion shards and 38k BE. If we add the 9 champion shards from levels 1 to 30, along with the 3000 BE we received from the tutorial, we would end up with a total of 610 champion shards and 41k BE. We can use a coupon collector calculator simulation thing and plug in the 610 into the Y value, which looking at the graph would mean we end up with around 163 unique champion shards and 447 duplicate shards. To buy the champion you have shards for, you will multiply 163, which is the number of unique shards, by 1894, which is 60% of the 3156 BE average value we got earlier, to equal around 308k BE that we would need to buy those champions at a discounted price for. To buy the remaining champions we don't have shards for directly, we will multiply the remaining number, which is 5 champions, by the average value of a full champion cost, 3156 BE, to equal around 15k BE needed to buy the remaining ones. This will lead us to need a total of 324k BE to be able to buy everything at level 300. Currently, we would have 41k BE from the calculation earlier, along with the 447 duplicate shards we had, and after we multiply the shards by 631, which is 20% of the average price, we will have an extra 282k BE to use, which after we add this to the BE we have and subtract all of this from the BE we need, we will be left with 469 BE still needed, which is close enough to 0 that it was a good enough answer for me. Now that we established level 300 to be a good base level need to unlock every champion, we have to figure out how long it would take for a player to reach this level in the first place. At level 300, you need a cumulative XP of 896k. The formula that determines how much XP you receive per game is listed here. If you win the game, you will receive experience equal to the length of the game in seconds times 0.11 plus a base value of 6.6. If you lose the game, you will receive experience equal to the length of the game in seconds times 0.09 plus a base value of 5.4. Games must be at least 7 minutes for it to count, or else you will receive no XP, and you will also not earn XP from custom games. There are different values of XP for co-op versus AI games against bots, but to keep things simple, I will only be considering games against other humans. There was also the question of what the average game time was. From a general search, it seemed that the average game time for Arians was 20 minutes, which when put into the formula would equal 138 XP for win and 113 XP for loss, with the average game time for Summoner's Rift being 30 minutes, which would then equal 204 XP for win and 167 XP for loss. I'm just gonna say that the average time overall for a game is 25 minutes, alright? Like, please let me have this one. Which means that if you win the game, it will be 172 XP for win and 140 XP for loss, which is an average of 156 XP per game. Using the assumption of a 50% win rate, how many games would it take to reach level 300? This is where it gets a little weird. Starting at level 15, there is the first win of the day reward, where if you win any match-made game, you earn 400 XP and 50 BE. If you get the cumulative XP needed, which is around 900k, and divide by the amount of levels, 300, you get an average of around 3000 XP needed per level. So earning an extra 400 XP a day would definitely help out in the long run, since you basically get 30% of a level with each win if done correctly. After thinking about it for a bit, I settled with just making a few different calculations based on how often someone played the game. We'll still be using the assumption of a 50% win rate for all these scenarios, since that's the average number, along with the assumption that they have already finished the tutorial by now. We're going to figure out how long it takes to reach level 300 if someone played 1 game a week, 1 game a day, 5 games a day, and 20 games a day. Let's start with 1 game a week. In their current system, if a player started playing League of Legends on January 1st, 2025, and nothing changed from the time of this video, they will first have to go from level 3 to level 15 to unlock the daily rewards. This means that they first need to get around 8,000 XP before the next calculations. If they play 1 game a week, it would take them on average 52 games to unlock the daily rewards, so basically just a year. They will be level 15 starting January 1st of 2026. Now that they can earn 400 XP plus 50 BE per win, they would win on week 1, then lose on week 2, for a combined total of 712 XP plus 50 BE in 2 weeks, or an average of 356 XP plus 25 BE for 1 week. If our goal is to get 888k XP from level 15, that means it would take us 2,497 more weeks/games to unlock every champion, or around 48 years. That means if someone only played 1 game a week starting from January 1st, 2025 and had a 50% win rate, they would reach level 300 at around January 1st, 2073. Do note that this player would also have an extra 124,000 BE from daily wins, so they will be able to unlock the champions much sooner than level 300. If someone played 1 game a day with the same conditions, it would basically be the same answer, except we could just divide the number by 7 since we're now playing daily instead of weekly. It would only take them 6.857 years to get to level 300 as opposed to 48 years. So if they started on January 1st, 2025, they will be level 300 on November 8th, 2031, with the same amount of extra BE. This is where it gets a little sped up, since now instead of waiting for the win of the day, we're essentially brute forcing the XP gains. After 5 games in 1 day, the player would have 780 XP, which after only 11 days, they will be at level 15. Starting from here, they would earn a total of 1,180 XP plus 50 BE per day, and be able to reach level 300 within 754 more days with an extra 37k BE. So if they started on January 1st, 2025, they will be level 300 within 765 days, or within 2 years and 35 days by February 4th, 2027. Finally, if someone decides for whatever reason to play 20 games a day every day, they will get 3,120 XP per day, which after 3 days, they will be level 15. Starting from here, they will get 3,520 XP plus 50 BE per day, which would mean they would hit level 300 in just 253 days with an extra of 12k BE. So if they start on January 1st, 2025, they will be level 300 by September 10th of the same year. Here's all the 4 scenarios side by side for comparison. To finally answer the main question of the video, we'll be going with this scenario with the assumption that the average casual player plays 1 game a day. The last thing we have to do is to update the information we have so far. Even though the 1 game a day player hit level 300 within 6.857 years to unlock every champion, they have an extra 124k BE lying around, which means they will definitely be able to afford everything much sooner. So after some last tests and calculations, and with everything we covered so far, we can finally answer the question: how long does it take to buy every champion in League? If someone started to play League of Legends today, played 1 game a day with a 50% win streak, and only focus on trying to unlock every champion optimally with the BE and shards they received, it would take them on average 6.1095 years, which is 6 years, 1 month, and 11 days to reach level 265, which by then they will have received enough rewards to buy every champion in League. Although 6 years might seem like a long time, it's actually not that bad considering how we didn't even factor in things like Hextech chests, honor rewards, battle pass rewards, etc. in the calculations. If the player is more honorable, more skilled, or in general more dedicated to playing the game, they'll be able to unlock every champion much faster. Even though there are still many problems with the current system, overall, I can't deny that it has gotten much better for players over the years. Some people think that every champion should be playable from the very beginning like in Dota 2, and while I do see some positive with such a system, I don't think it'd be the best for League. Like personally, if I wasn't making this video, then I would never have bought like half of the champion list because I just really don't want to get them in ARAMs. But whether it takes 6 years or 6 minutes, sometimes having one champion you truly enjoy playing can be worth more than the other 167 combined.